Welcome once again to Church Alive Community Outreach. And this is your host and president of Church Alive Development Corporation, yes, and the proud pastor of Church Alive Community Church. And once again, we're here to bring you information that will improve your lifestyle. Information, resources, and services. Now, we've done this for over 30 years, and I know you have been benefited. I received the telephone calls and mail, the letters, and even those who come to our church to express how this program has made a major difference in improving your health and getting you contact with the resources that are important, bring you to a better knowledge of what God has for all of us. Now, we're all growing older, and I know about that because I just turned 80 years old. And I thank God that in 80 years, I've never had to be on medication because I took very careful notice of my immune system. And that's basically where we're going to be talking today. We're talking about immune fortress, how we can build the immune system. Now, recently, I was blessed to be able to meet Marlon Joe. And Marlon Joe is all about the company that I just mentioned. And that he's going to tell you. Now, I recently took some ingredients. And I call them ingredients because it wasn't chemical, it was natural, it was everything that I needed in my body. And I tell you, I feel great, and that's only in 3-4 days. Tell you a little bit more a little later, but right now I want to introduce my guest, Marlon Joe. Welcome to Church Alive.
Thank you, Dr. Burkett. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Okay, Immune Fortress. Thank you so much, because we did have a lot of communication, and we want to thank a good friend of ours, right?
Yes.
But I want to thank for connecting me.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
Because I've had something that was trying to come on to my body, and I'll tell people a little later on about it. Okay. But I believe that God has made this contact for me to ward off a sickness that many men have today, and that's with your prostrate. Okay, getting to our person. Tell us about Immune Fortress.
So Immune Fortress, we started the company about 5 years ago. One of the main reasons why I started the company was because my mother was sick. She died about 8 years ago, and she was diabetic. And I saw, having worked for the pharmaceutical firms for over 8 to 12 years, what I've noticed was she kept going from one drug to the next, and nothing worked. And I kept saying to myself, I said, Lord, there has to be something that we can do that's different. Because when she got an infection, she got a cut on her toe, she got an infection, and they cut off the toe, one toe, another toe, and it just kept going on, and eventually she got an infection and died. And when I came in contact with this from a scientist friend of mine, I said to myself, I says, wow, here is a product something that people can use. It's natural, it's organic, and it builds the immune system from the cellular level. That's the key. The name of the product is Immune GSH, but more so than the name, it's actually the medical acronym for glutathione is GSH. So that's why we call it GSH. And what it's designed to do is to build your immune system from the cellular level up.
Okay, what's GSH?
So GSH is, let's think of it this way. Each one of us has trillions of cells in our body. Each cell is surrounded or protected by glutathione. The scientists, they now know that there are 79 diseases that's linked to low glutathione levels. So when a cell when your glutathione levels are low, what happens, we all breathe in free radicals every day. It's common. It's just carcinogens. It's part of life. And what glutathione does is it protects the cell from carcinogens and free radicals entering into your cell. That's ultimately the goal. So basically, it's your immune system from the cellular level up. We all have glutathione. You can't buy glutathione. Your body has to produce it. Right. And what our product does is it gives the body the precursors to produce glutathione.
Well, this is tremendous to know. Now, what about people that high blood pressure? I know I've had it in my family, and sugar diabetes, which is a major problem here in the Bronx, and especially people of color, and of course prostate cancer. But how does this affect it? Now, I had a similar situation as you had with your mother, am I correct?
Yes.
Was with my dad, okay, and he had diabetes.
Yeah.
and they cut his toe cleaning it. My sister had the same problem.
Oh, gosh.
And they cut off the toe.
Yeah.
And then it spread to the foot. They cut off the foot.
Yeah.
And then it spread to the leg, and they cut that off. And eventually, he died. Same thing happened to my sister.
Yep.
The doctor was cleaning her toenails,
Yep.
and he went too far, and
Wow.
he cut the skin.
Yeah.
Put some salve on it. It was too late.
Yeah.
It began to spread, and she also died. Something is wrong with the immune system when these tragedies can happen, and they're happening to people even as we speak.
Absolutely.
And I've been careful about these things because when it happened in my family, I began to wonder, what can I do, and how can I live now to 80 years without any medication? Tell us, how these things, arthritis and asthma, how can this help?
Well, we talk about all of these different diseases, but I think the key that we have to recognize here is the immune system. You've heard it, I've heard it growing up, I'm sure you've heard it. Prevention is better than cure.
Definitely.
If you can prevent something, then there's no need to cure it. So by building your immune system, what it's actually doing is your immune system becomes the wall or the fortress or the defense mechanism against the health challenge. It doesn't matter what it is. As I said to you earlier, there are 79 diseases that's linked to glutathione. So somewhere in there, high blood pressure is there, people who are diabetic, it's there. It doesn't matter what the health challenge is. I'll give you an example of cancer. Dr. Lou Montagner, who is the French scientist who discovered the AIDS virus, and he did an extensive amount of studies on cancer. What he said is, he says, if you raise glutathione levels, you could inhibit the spread of cancer, you could inhibit the spread of the virus in your body. Why? Because how do people get cancer? You get cancer when your cell, that free radical enters the cell with glutathione being low, and that free radical, if a free radical enters your cell, if through oxidation, through when you take your vitamin C and it begins to detoxify within the cell, if glutathione is not present, what happens, that free radical is not expelled out of the cell, and that free radical can touch your DNA. If it touches your DNA, one cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 6. You have cancer. So the goal is to really prevent that free radical from even entering the body by raising glutathione levels. That's what we're saying.
Right. So what we're saying here now with Immune Fortress, and by the way, tell us where did this name come from, Immune Fortress?
Well, the reason why I call it Immune Fortress, again, we're dealing with the immune system. The word fortress comes from the word defense. So if you notice, there's a little shield on there, and the purpose for the shield is if you raise glutathione levels, your immune system can become a fortress or a shield against whatever diseases you're facing.
All right. Now, some people have said, okay, maybe I will go on lactose. Explain the value of that and the difference.
Okay, so this product, as you mentioned, is made from raw cow's milk, yeah? Unpasteurized. So for instance, it's unpasteurized. Also, it's organic, so it's there have been no hormones or anything that the cows that we've extracted is from. However, it's all grass-fed.
It's just true. I've taken it now for the last 3 days, and it's just like milk.
It's just like milk.
Okay, but it's more pure.
It's more pure, correct.
Right.
But basically what it is it's the peptide, it's the cysteine that we extracted from the cow's milk that's dried, and that's what you have here. It's basically a dry substance that we extracted in terms of the cysteine, and we've made this product. However, the key is with this product is that people who are lactose intolerant, we extract the lactose out of it. So it's not in here. So people who are lactose intolerant can actually take this and they don't have any side effects. So which is great. And one of the other things that's really important to understand is this product must be taken either by, you can mix it in milk if you drink milk, or soy. So a lot of people mix it in soy, or they mix it in water. So
I mix it in water.
You mix it in water, yeah.
And I, because I wanted to really feel the results of it, and I wanted to feel how it really tastes. So that's what I did. Now I have a brother in my church, a serious problem with arthritis in his knees. In some cases, he can't even walk.
Okay.
You know, and all he's really doing is taking painkillers, which work for a little while, and then the pain come back. And every Sunday when I'm preaching, I look down at him. I says, God, there's got to be an answer. There's got to be some relief for this brother. And he's a wonderful brother, and he loves his pastor.
Yep.
And I said, God, there's got to be something. And I'm. This is the reason why I said, let me use this myself,
Yeah.
so he'll feel comfortable when I approach him. But tell us, how does this affect arthritis?
Before I answer that question, I'll just share this little story. At our church, as you know, I'm one of the ministers at our church, and we spend at least 30 minutes after our service just praying for the sick. Because it's a constant. I think every pastor around the country, it's their. I'm serious. It is their number one challenge, because you pray. We pray the prayer of faith. We believe that God is going to heal them. But a lot of times they go out and sometimes they do the same things
all over again.
Yeah. And they're back next month or next week for prayer again. So I totally get it.
Right.
So there are two products that we sell. The second product, it's called colostrum. And what is colostrum? Colostrum is the first, after a woman or a cow has a calf, after the first 14 days, a cow produces a calf. It produces what they call colostrum. It's the first set of milk. That milk, whether people realizes it or not, is very potent, and it also has reduces inflammation. So that's what colostrum does. So what we do is these two products. This is our flagship product, the GSH. But more so the colostrum, they kind of complement each other. They both build the immune system, but more so what this does is it reduces inflammation. So people with arthritis, I'll give you an example. There was a sister at our church. She could hardly bend her finger.
Yeah.
We put her on this product, and after probably about a week or so, she's like, wow, it doesn't,
bend the finger.
it doesn't hurt anymore.
Right.
I says, because the inflammation is gone.
Oh,
You know?
I see.
So the key, particularly in arthritis, is to reduce the inflammation.
All right, well, we're coming on to about 5 minutes, and we're going to see some wonderful testimonies from the dear brother I just spoke to, and another sister who has tracheotomy, and then there's another one with high blood pressure. And you're not selling these, you're actually selling to people, take it and use it.
That's right.
And let us know.
Let us know, absolutely.
How well you are.
Yeah, I think that's what we did with you. I said, Doc, try it.
You
please.
did, you're right.
Let me know how, because the thing is...
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the people. This is not hard sell, folks. This is really trying, amen, to get you from what? Health to what?
To wellness.
To wellness.
That's the goal.
Health to wellness. And this is why Dr. Burkett and Church Life embraces this, because you know we're all about meeting the needs of God's people, feeding the hungry and nutritional. And my wife has a tremendous mission where people come in and get clothing and food. And right now we're getting ready to go into a tremendous food drive with the Yankee organization. And hopefully this year we'll be able to give away 30 bags of food. And what I've asked the Yankees to do is to make sure they ask the people to bring good, nourishing food.
That's right.
No salt and sugar and things like that. We don't even take those things as far as those people give it. We said, don't bring us any sugar.
That's right.
And don't bring us any. So one year we got a truckload of salt from one distributor, and we had to actually almost throw it away. And so this is where we are about Church Alive, and you know that. And matter of fact, we're looking now for more volunteers. We're looking for people to come in and work with us to do this great ministry. I'm not getting any, I am getting younger, but because God has blessed me to be able to bless you. Now, we're going to have some testimonies coming up, but I want to read off some things here and let me know whether this health to wellness can help in these areas. I mentioned high blood pressure, right?
Correct.
I mentioned diabetes, right? And then we have arthritis. What about asthma?
Asthma, yes.
Right? And migraine headaches.
Oh.
And we're talking about colds and flu, because this is a season for them.
Correct.
Leukemia, HIV, kidney, and cancer. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. We are going to, I'm excited to hear these testimonies because, like you said, as a pastor, you feel for the members who come on the prayer line, believing God for healing. And I believe God has moved and touched their bodies, but they're back to routine. They just go back to the very thing that they've been delivered from.
Correct.
And so we're trusting and believing those who will be taking it will willing to change. And that's the hardest part of us as a God's creation, is making changes, even if they're for our good. We're going to see these testimonies right now, and I want to thank God for, sending you our way. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so
Look
much.
to Marlon Joe. Okay. We'll be seeing some testimonies in a moment, folk, and then we're going to come back and hopefully we've made a difference in your life. God bless.
God bless you.
We'll be right back. Well, I want to introduce my guest to you, who's really a testimony. We just had a wonderful conversation with Marlon Joe, who introduced Immune Fortress to me, and he told us all about this gentleman that God really performed a miracle through Immune Fortress, and his name is Reverend Emir Price, and I'm going to introduce him to you right now, and he's going to give you his testimony. Our brother Price.
God bless you. God bless you, Pastor.
Right. We just heard your testimony on the telephone about a month ago, and it was really something special. And I felt it was so impressive and so much of a miracle of God through Immune Fortress that I wanted my audience to be able to be inspired by your testimony. So go right ahead, Reverend Price.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, family. It's been a real amazing month and a half. On the 17th of November, when I got the product that morning, it came right on time. Marlon told me it was going to be there that day, and it was there. And immediately I opened it up and I mixed up it properly according to the protocol and took a drink of it and said, okay, that tastes very good. It reminds me of the powdered milk my mom used to make hot chocolate with.
You're right.
When I was a kid, but it's very delicious. And of course the colostrum is tasty as well. But right after I drank it, I got a phone call from, I'm a kidney patient for the moment. And I say for the moment because I'm anticipating some wonderful, miraculous things this season to turn that around. The dialysis center called me and told me that there's a problem and we have an emergency. We need you to go to the hospital immediately. I was like, okay, what's the emergency? And they said, well, your blood level is too low to dialyze today, so don't come here. Go to the hospital. I says, okay, what do you mean too low? It was a 6, and a normal male's body is between 14 and 16, and mine was 6. So that was that shuddered me for a moment. But I said, okay, God, let's go do this. Show me what we can do with the right ingredients. So I packed in my bag, slipped in the glutathione and the colostrum into my bag because I know I'm going to be staying in the hospital for a couple of days. Actually, I stayed in there for they let me on the 27th of November. But during that time period, I took the glutathione and colostrum religiously every day. Like they came in with medication, I always beat them, taking the glutathione and the colostrum, which of course they didn't really know what I had, but they knew that I was doing something because I had finally got the private room and everything was set up just the way that I needed it. God knew what he was doing. When it all came to start working through, it was a miracle. The first thing that happened was when you're a dialysis patient, your urine production is not as frequent. Well, after the 7th day of taking the glutathione that morning, it was so incredibly scary that I'm standing there in front of the bowl. All of a sudden, someone turned the faucet on. I'm like, what the heck is that? I was like, whoa. So I turned the light on so I could see what was going on. And there I was producing. I was like, wow, yeah. This is a very interesting production. Okay, God, let's go do this. Well, while I was I went to the hospital to get because of a blood issue. They infused 2 pints of blood and hormone treatment called Epogen to help boost my blood level. All of a sudden, the other reason came up to why I was in the hospital, because the graft that I had for my dialysis, it was infected also. So they surgically removed it, and prior to that, it was extremely tender. You couldn't even look at it without pain. Well, having diabetic issues, having kidney issues, having blood issues, all those combined together gave a very tender box of any kind of problem with that graft, to where when they removed it, it healed within 5 days. And not only was I able to touch it, I was able to move my arm like I'm doing a small curl, stretch it all the way out. It was amazing because there was no pain and no swelling. It was like, oh, okay. I'm not really sure what's going on, but thank you, God. So it went on. I kept doing the glutathione and kept doing the colostrum every day, twice a day, and watching one more miracle happen. On the 26th, they gave me my last dose of Levemir insulin. And they give you insulin based upon your numbers being out of range or below range. They monitor it accordingly. Pastor, when I tell you that my glucose that night was too low for them to give me a long-acting insulin,
Yeah.
that was a miracle. Because, like, excuse me? What you mean it's too low? Well, we're not going to give you none because we don't want you to bottom out. I'm like, oh, well, then that's a good feeling to me. Let's go. Went to bed that night. It was 1:15 that night. Got up that morning. It was 80. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So the doctor, he said, as long as it's in that range, don't bother taking any insulin. I said, not a problem.
Look out,
Don't hurt
praise God.
Does not hurt my feelings, none at all.
And but this is something that we felt, that I certainly feel would be encouraging to all of you, those who have diabetes, those who have incurable diseases. There is an answer, and Immune Fortress can work the same miracle for Brother Price. It could also work that same miracle for you. And I know I've suffered from a lot of cramps and circulation in my legs, and since I've been taking Immune, and every time I take it, I don't have those cramps. And so I want to say to all those who are listening and watching this program that take a real serious interest in getting more information about Immune Fortress. We're going to try to take the next 2 minutes to give you a chance to say a few words that will allow our audience to realize that this is something that they should try. Go
Yes,
right
sir.
ahead.
The one thing that I want to bring to the family is this. One thing, you don't want to try this. And I know that's hard to hear me say that, but you don't want to try this. You want to learn and do like the Bible told you. It told you to do, and whatever you do, whatever you put your hands to, do it well. Well, if you put your mind to doing this because it's going to change you, the mere fact that it changed my glucose need from having to take insulin every night to not having to take it at all for the past month and a half, I'm pretty sure the fact that I didn't try it, but I actually did it, caused that to happen. Well, after I went to the doctor on the 29th, the 29th, the very next day, the doctor asked me a very unusual question. He says, is it possible that you were misdiagnosed with diabetes? I said, well, why would you ask that? He said, because your A1C, which is your 3-month running numbers, your A1C is 5.2. And for a gentleman of your age, that's pretty interesting. What are you doing? Of course, I said, well, doc, I'm just taking better care of myself than I have before. And he says, well, you're going to have to tell me your secret one of these days. I said, well, I tell you what, I'm going to send you a link and we'll talk once you read it. Well, needless to say, he read it and gave me a call, and he says, okay, I get some from this site? I said, yes, sir. And he ordered it. I was like, okay, that's a beautiful thing. He ordered it for his wife because he had my lab work that said that things are actually transitioning into a better state of being. Homeostasis is capable. When you have diabetes, you don't need insulin. Your body just needs to be repaired so it can do what it's supposed to do by the design of our creator.
So we really want to thank God for introducing, first introducing Marlon Joe to us, and then
Yes.
Marlon Joe in turn, he then told us all about Immune Fortress, and both of us have been have to be grateful to him. But we
Oh
want
yeah.
our audience to know that the same thing that happened to you and me and to the thousands of other people out there, it can happen to you as well. And so,
Yes.
Reverend Jackson, we want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing this wonderful testimony that I know has inspired others right now to call and get in touch. Well, there's a telephone number coming up on the screen. Also, there will be a website as well for you to get more information. So don't worry about it. We're not going to leave you in the dark or a mystery on how to contact and get Immune Fortress. It's there for you. We want to thank you for allowing us to bring Church Alive. And over the years, we have done just that, to bring you quality information, resources, and services that have improved your lifestyle. And we trust that this information that we brought to you this time will really make a difference. So make the phone call, go to the website, or call Church Alive, and we'll be able to direct you on how you can get Immune Fortress. And what it did for our brother Price, I know it can do the same for you. So in closing, we love you with the love of the Lord.
1 in 4 New Yorkers report having high blood pressure, a condition that is a leading contributor to stroke and heart disease, which account for 20% of premature deaths in people under 65, according to new research released by the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Over 700,000 New Yorkers have diabetes. Almost a third don't know they have it. 40% of elementary school children are overweight, which puts them at risk for diabetes. A diagnosis of kidney disease means that a person's kidneys are damaged and cannot filter blood the way they should. This damage can cause waste to build up in the body. Kidney disease can cause other health problems such as heart disease.